If you walk past Caesar's palace today, the fountains splashing, the Roman statues gleaming, and the gold letters shining above the strip, you'd never guess anything was wrong. It still looks like the same palace of excess that built its reputation on luxury, gambling, and over-the-top entertainment. But behind those shimmering pillars is a massive financial problem that threatens the future of not just Caesar's palace, but the entire Caesars brand. Because as of late 2025, Caesars Entertainment is carrying nearly $12 billion in outstanding debt, and that number alone does not even tell the whole story. When you factor in interest payments, rising labor costs, utilities, refinancing risk, inflation, deferred maintenance, and renegotiations long overdue, the financial picture becomes a lot scarier. This is not a new problem. It started back more than 15 years ago when private equity firms executed a massive leveraged takeover of Caesars using borrowed money. They piled up mountains of debt, and when the 2008 financial crisis hit, the weight became crushing. Within a few years, one of Caesars' largest operating subsidiaries filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy under the pressure of almost $20 billion in total obligations. The restructuring helped. Some debt was spun off into real estate entities, some renegotiated, and Wall Street cheered like the problem had magically disappeared. But it did not. The debt was simply moved into long-term liabilities. The leverage stayed, the risk remained. Fast forward to today, and Caesars Entertainment still shows enormous exposure. As of June 30, 2025, total outstanding indebtedness stood at roughly $12.272 billion, with net debt, after accounting for cash on hand, around $11.290 billion. Meanwhile, their cash and cash equivalents, the liquidity buffer, amount to less than $1 billion. That means the entire company, and by extension Caesar's Palace, is basically living paycheck to paycheck. One rough quarter or one stumble in tourism or gambling demand could destabilize the balance sheet. Profitability, renovations, upgrades all become fragile. And this is the core truth most tourists will never see. When a company is deep in debt, it does not matter how busy the casino floor looks. It does not matter if rooms are full on a Saturday night. What matters is cash flow, and debt eats cash flow alive. Because of this financial pressure, Caesar's Palace has shifted its priorities. Instead of investing in major upgrades or long-term improvements, the company is forced to squeeze every possible dollar out of guests just to stay afloat. That shows up as higher resort fees, expensive parking charges, rising minimums on table games, pricier food and drinks, and fewer freebies or comps. Cost-cutting creeps into maintenance, staffing levels, speed of service, and even the quality of entertainment offerings. Guest experience becomes secondary to survival. You can already see the cracks forming if you know where to look. Areas of Caesar's Palace that used to feel luxurious and timeless now begin to look worn. Rooms once considered glamorous now lag behind newer properties in style and technology. Maintenance issues take longer to correct. Staff counts drop. Service becomes slower, even sluggish. Meanwhile, competition ramps up. Newer resorts like Resorts World Las Vegas, the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas, and Fontainebleau Las Vegas invest heavily in fresh branding, modern design, immersive experiences, and high-roller amenities. Caesar's Palace still has name recognition, but in a world where guests pay not just for status but for experience, name alone is no longer enough. And that is the danger of being a legacy institution trapped in a legacy debt pile. Tourism patterns are making things worse. Las Vegas visitation is becoming more bifurcated, a shrinking minority of ultra-wealthy gamblers and high spenders, and a larger pool of budget-conscious or value-seeking tourists. The middle-class tourists and mid-stakes gamblers who once filled the casinos are vanishing or spending far less. That shrinkage strips away crucial revenue the company needs to cover debt payments. Worker morale has also been hit. When a company is drowning in debt, labor cuts and cost-saving measures become easy targets. Departments shrink, employees are asked to wear more hats, maintenance is deferred, and service suffers. In Las Vegas, where hospitality is everything, tired employees eventually produce tired experiences. Guests notice, they complain, they spend less. Another problem, staying competitive in the modern strip requires constant, expensive upgrades, renovations, technology, safety and compliance updates, entertainment contracts, marketing. These costs often run into the hundreds of millions. But debt-heavy companies rarely invest in their own upkeep. Instead, they patch what they must, hoping to stretch value for as long as possible. That strategy might keep the lights on for a while, but it guarantees gradual decline. And then there is the nuclear scenario. If revenue continues to slip or the economy softens, Caesars Entertainment could be forced into another restructuring, maybe a fire sale of assets, maybe selling or downsizing parts of Caesars Palace, perhaps reducing gaming areas, maybe even turning legendary spaces into lower-cost hotels or repurposing them entirely. It sounds extreme, but the risk is real and rising every day. That is the tragic part of this story. Caesars Palace is more than just a casino. It helped define Las Vegas. It is the reason people imagine marble columns, Roman statues, champagne fountains, and grand showrooms when they think of the Strip. It's where boxing history was made, where legendary concerts happened, where millions of vacation photos were taken. If Caesars Palace falters, a piece of Las Vegas's identity falters with it. When you really think about it, the fear is not just that Caesars Palace might lose its shine. The fear is it might stay exactly the same, because the company cannot afford to make it better, because debt does not kill overnight. Debt starves slowly. Debt suffocates innovation. Debt turns a palace into a memory. So next time you walk inside and see those marble statues holding up the ceiling, just remember that they might be holding up the balance sheet too. Right now, Caesars Palace is fighting a financial battle that most visitors will never see, a battle against billions of dollars that never sleep, never shrink, and never stop demanding tribute. The palace will keep smiling, the fountains will keep dancing, the slots will keep ringing, but behind every jackpot someone hits, there is a far bigger number that Caesars owes to the banks. And unless the company finds a miracle, the question is not whether the debt will reshape the future of this iconic resort. It is how soon.